Hello everyone and welcome to this new webinar. So today we are going to speak about navigation options. That is to say, what are your options to offer the best browsing experience in your app? So we will cover four different subjects. What are navigation modes, how to filter content in each section, how to create a multi-level navigation, and at the end of the webinar, we'll go a little bit in the technical stuff, and I'll show you how to create a navigation from scratch using deep linking. So let's start with the first topic, which is what are navigation modes and how to use them. So let me share you my screens, and I will show you what is it about. Okay, so let's start with this app. It's the app called the Webinar app, the one I use regularly to make those webinars. So as you know, when you create your app, you choose what we call the menu, and the menu, in fact, will in this part of the design of the app, you are going to choose the navigation mode of the app. So Goodbarber apps are made of sections. Each sections point to a certain type of content. Could be articles, videos, photos, points on a map, audio content, so any kind of content. And all this content is under one type of section. And navigation modes, what we call navigation modes, is the way the user is going to browse and to enter each section. So as you can see, we call them with different name. There is the swipe navigation here, where users can here expand a menu by clicking on the top left corner of the app, and they will see all the sections of the app. Then we have other modes like the top bar, the little swipe, the grid, the slate, the large typo, the classic tab bar, and the from scratch navigation mode that we will cover at the end of this webinar. So I'm pretty sure almost everyone attending this webinar is familiar with the navigation modes. I just realized maybe you didn't see my screen, so I'm going to start over. So I was saying each Goodbarber app is made of sections, and here in the design part under menu, you can decide how people are going to browse your sections. So in this example, I've selected the swipe navigation mode, and as you can see, this is the way people can access different sections of my app, and we propose different types of accessing your content, okay? So let's change, for instance, for the slate navigation mode. And you see here, it's another way to browse and to enter the different sections of my app. Okay, so nothing very new here. You need to find what type of navigation mode works best for you. So for instance, if you have few sections in your app, maybe the grid or the tab bar may work pretty well for you. If you have much more entries, swipe, little swipe, large typo, and typo navigation modes may be better, because with people can see very quickly what are the different entries inside your app, because with other types like the tab bar, if you have more than 5 sections, all the other section will be seen only if people click on this other button here. Okay. So that's the way people can enter and browse your content inside your app. So this is very basic way to browse, and most of the time, resellers, you need to have more flexibility to organize your content. And here comes a first option for you that is that we call filters, or sometimes we call also it categories. So it's a very interesting and powerful way to organize your content inside your app. And when I make the support, I realized that a lot of you are not aware of this this option, and that's the reason why I wanted to make this webinar about all the navigation options you have. So let's work on one section I've called Travel Places, and this is a section where I've decided to show photos of places I visited. So I could have put all the photos at the root of the section, but in this case, I would like to organize my photos into albums. And here comes this feature called the filters, the categories. So as you can see, I've already set up this section with 3 categories: Corsica, London, French Polynesia. And doing so, people, when they enter this section, will be able to filter the content and to see what they have under each tab. So how to create categories inside my sections. So the first place to go is here in this settings tab. And you will see here, there is this My Filter space where you can determine and define the filters in this specific section connected to, in this case, I think it's my Flickr account. So thanks to the connector we've made with this photo service, we can retrieve dynamically all the albums that are made in this service. So here I can browse all my albums, and you see there is one called Bali. I'm going to select it, and I give a name to this new category. So I call it Bali. This is what people will see in the app as the name of the category. This category goes at the bottom of the list, but if I want to reorganize, I can drag and drop to reorganize my my sections, my categories, sorry. So you need to know that the filters only work on certain types of sections, and it depends on the source connected to your section. So for article sources like WordPress or WMaker or other CMSs, it's possible for our connector to retrieve the categories, and you will be able to set categories inside the section. For some other connectors, it's not possible because the APIs of the services we are trying to connect to doesn't provide the categories, or doesn't have in their management system a way to filter content inside a type of section. And one thing to know also is if you use the internal management system, the MCMS, to create your content, you will be able to create categories to organize your section and to use this feature inside the section you create with the MCMS. So in terms of displaying the categories, you have several options, and we're going to review them one by one so that you have a good understanding of how to display your content. So here is my Travel Places section. It's a photo section, and as you can see, there is this folder icon, and this folder icon only appears when you have set up filters in this settings tab. So I'm going to enter this menu, clicking on the icon, and now I can choose how to display my categories inside my section. So the default template right now is what we call the circle band. This is this way of presenting the content. I'm going to show you this inside the app on the phone, because browsing categories is done mainly with gestures, and the result it's better if you see it inside an app. So let's switch back to another screen. So here you can see the app called Webinar. There is the tab bar as the navigation mode, and we're going to this Travel Places menu. And as you can see, this is the second way to browse my categories. So here I have only 4 categories, 4 filters, and they can be displayed. All of them can be displayed in this screen. Let's add a new filter, and you will see that the gesture with the circle brown is you can swipe from the right or the left to see the other categories if you put more than 4, or if you put names that are very long and you need to scroll to see all the filters. So let me add one additional category, and I will show you the results very quickly. So I'm adding a new category. I will call it Barcelona. And now I'm going to refresh my app. Going back to Travel Places. And sorry. So it looks like I missed something in the process. Never mind. I think you have understood what it was about. So let's see now what are the different options to display these categories. So I'm going back to the backend. Okay, Travel Places. I click on the folder icon. And now I can choose the drop-down menu to display my categories. I have also this pager. So here people use a gesture to swipe between each categories. And I have the overlay where it's very sleek interface. You only have one gesture to display each category and go from one to another by swiping right or left. So for each of these options, you can set some parameters. So let's go back to Pager, for instance. And here you can decide to display in the navbar the title of the categories, only your logo or the title of your app, if you doesn't use a logo in the header section, or both logos and categories. So here, as you can see, I've chosen logo and categories, but since I am in the first category, we display the name of the app, what you have chosen to put as the logo or as the title of the app. But when you go to the second category and the third category, you will see that the logo is replaced by the name of the category. One more thing to say about the options you have to select to display your categories. You see that here it's not possible to choose the expandable mode. Why? Because the navigation mode we have, the tab bar, is not compatible with this way of browsing categories. To be able to use expandable mode, you need to change your navigation mode, and we are going to change this navigation mode and to replace it by a swipe navigation mode. And then we will go back in Travel Places section to select the expandable way to browse categories. So here I go for swipe, and now I go back to my Travel Places section. I enter the menu to customize the way to display categories, and now, as you can see, I can select expandable. So selecting expandable now, when people use the swipe navigation, they see the categories as if they were subsections of Travel Places. Okay, so you can put separators between each category. You can set the design of this expandable menu, as you can set the design of all the other ways to display the categories. I propose now to move to the third option you have to present content. And this is a way to create subsections to have a multi-level navigation. So I'm going to show you the results first, and then I will show you how to set up a multi-navigation mode. So let's go to the Exploring app. So here, as you can see, there is a grid navigation. So this is my main navigation mode. And now I'm going to enter this Places menu. And here I have different places I can visit. Let's start with Corsica. And inside Corsica, you see there is a list of items, and I can now enter each item. Okay? So what we call the multi-level, it's the menu section, in fact, is a shell where you can put inside other sections that will point to different type of content. So let's see now what are the options to display a multi-level navigation. So we are going to work on this app called Freeze. And in this app, I have several sections. And here you see I have this icon. And under this section, I have 3 different sections. So how did I create this section? In fact, I added this section called menu. If you add a section called menu, let's call it my multi-level menu. You see that here it's void. There is no content behind this section, and you need to add sections inside this multi-level section. So let's go back to this menu I've called Let's Start, because I have already added 3 sections. So how to add a new section inside a menu, you have two ways to do it. You can add a non-existing section by clicking the Add button here, and you will be prompted to choose a new section that doesn't yet exist in your app. Or what you can do is enter any of your existing sections. So let's say this one, Send Me Content. And in the Settings tab, you will decide where to move this section. So I have two menus. I'm going to move this section in the Let's Start menu. Okay, so this section has moved, and now I can drag and drop to order and put the section where I want to put it. Okay, so let's speak now about the design of the menu. So if I click on the menu, I have now a new icon that will let me enter the settings, the design settings of this menu section. So we have several templates, and in fact there are 10 templates, but we can say there are 4 templates plus 2, the 9 and the 10, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, they are quietly the same, and the idea is the following. You have a way to display the sections. So here it's horizontal blocks, one under each other, with pointing to the sections that you have in your menu. Template 1 and template 2 work the same. The difference is with template 2, you are going to design with icons and colors. With template 1, you are going to design with photos. Okay, so for each section, you can choose a photo, a visual, to point to the content related to the section. Template number 3 and number 4, we are going to divide the screen based on the number of sections you have under the menu. So here we have 4 sections, and it's organized automatically by 1 big block, 2 small, 1 big. If there were 5 sections, like in the Exploring app, it would have been 1 big block and 4 small, and so on. So the system works dynamically to fit to the best possible view automatically. Number 5 and 6, it's squares inside on the screen, and you can scroll down depending on the number of sections you have in your app. So with this combination of images or logos, you have a lot of flexibility to display your content and to create beautiful things. Number 7 and 8, those are very useful if you want to put a lot of entries under each menu section. So here I have only 4 sections, but if there were much more, this way of displaying the subsections inside the menu is very convenient, because people can scroll very quickly and see all the entries, all the available entries under the menu. And once again, it's always the same idea, images or icons. Now we have number 9 and 10. So number 9, it's very visual way to present the sections under your Swipe navigation. So here you need for each section you have. So there is the news from the mobile blog. Let me show you again what are the sections inside this menu. So we have news, funny videos, beautiful places, and send me content. So for each one of them, you need to choose an image. And the resolution of this image is very important because you need to display very properly on mobile, Android phones and iPhones, and also on tablets, in portrait mode and in landscape mode. So here, I don't have prepared any images, but remember that you can access the library anytime. And by accessing the library, you will be able to choose very beautiful photos to create your menus. Okay, let's select one for the tablet. I can choose the same, or if I want, I can choose another one. So here, let's stay consistent and choose the same. And same thing with the landscape mode on the tablet version. And you need to do this for all the sections inside your menu. Once this is done, you can set some options. You can display the section titles. And if you decide to display it, you can then select the place on the page where it will be displayed. So center, top, bottom, right, left, up to you. You can choose the font also. And if you want, you can put some effects on the images and on the title. So here, it's the blur effect that only works on iOS. Or if you want, you can put a gradient. Those options are useful because sometimes the contrast in the photo is not perfect, and the title cannot be read very properly. So using the blur or the gradient can solve the problem. Okay. So here I'm going to hide the title of my section. So the way you can organize the information in each entries in your menu section works in all modes. So what I've shown for the template number 9 works for template number 3 or template number 4. You can decide to display the title and to choose the place where you're going to display it and put some effects or not if you need to. Okay. So we've seen native features of Goodbarber to organize the content, navigation modes, filters to create categories inside the sections, and multi-level navigations with the menu section. If all of this, if you want more flexibility, and if you all of those options are not the best ones for the project you are creating for your customer, you can, if you have coding skills, you can use the scratch modes. So the scratch modes are for developers because you are going to create an HTML navigation, in fact, and you are going to point to some places inside your app to create the menu. And this is what we are going to see right now. Okay. So let's go to a new project I've called Small Lakes. And in the menu here, I'm going to choose from scratch. So here, when I start and I select from scratch, you have a blank page where you can enter your own code to create the navigation. Okay. Before explaining in detail what there is inside this file, and I will explain the concept so that you can reproduce it for yourself, I would like to show you before the internal links every Good Barber app has. It's under the Publish menu, URL, in-app. Here we list automatically deep links to your content, to each of your sections. Okay, so this is an internal URL scheme you can use in your when you build your own code to create a navigation, for instance, to point to the article section of this app. Here we point to the photo section of the app, etc., etc. Okay. If you want to customize this scheme, by default, it's the name you've chosen to create the project. So here it's Grana 13. You can go to the customization tab and change the scheme here and save it. Okay. So using those URLs, I will be able to create my own navigation, my own design to point to the article section, the photo section, the video section, etc., etc. And this is what this file is supposed to do. So let's go back to my menu. So here you have the preview of the menu I've created. I've put a big image here as a header, and then some squares with an icon, a title, and when I click on each entry, I go to one section inside the app. Okay. So how to do that? So you create an HTML file, so a classic HTML file with your head here, where you can put some instructions for the design, customizing your the CSS and setting parameters to properly design the page. And here you have the body with the menu I've created. So here it's a basic list of items. So in this div tag, I've put the image I use here as the header of my page. And for each item here, it's a link to the section. So here you recognize an hypertext link, a classical hypertext link with the internal address that will point to the section inside my app, and an associated image and the name inside the image. And this process has been repeated 5 times to create and to organize this type of content. So that's the idea. You create your own file with your own design, and the key is to use the internal links to point to the content inside the app. So sometimes you may need to point not to a section, but a specific item inside your app. So to find the URL of this item, it won't be listed in the publish URL in-app menu, because here we list only the sections and the subsections if you are using a menu section in your app. Let me show you in this example. Okay, so here you have the sections that are inside a menu. But if you need to access the URL of a specific item, let's say an article from this article section, what you can do is to browse the mobile version of your app, identify the content. So here I need to, it's not a good example. Let me change and go here to small lakes. Okay, so if I need to go to the specific photo inside this photo section, here you have the end of the path to this item. So the number of the section and the number of the item, and you can use it using the scheme HTTP Granat 13 hash exclamation mark section equals and the numbers and the number of the item. So this is what I wanted to show you today about navigation options. If you have some questions, you can put them in the Q&A app or also in the chat window. So now I'm going to review your questions and try to answer the best as I can. So it looks like we have two off-topic sections. So the first one, can you speak about implementation of augmented reality with Goodbarber? As for today, there is no plan to have augmented reality inside Goodbarber, developed by the team. But we are working now on a project to open the platform and to enable external developers to be able to build some new features that you will be able to use if you need them, or that you will be able to develop yourself. So as for now, developed by us, no plans for augmented reality, but the environment is going to evolve and to grow. So it will be maybe possible in a future. A new off-topic section. Can you speak on the community add-on feature? Okay. So the community is a big piece of the roadmap, and it's going to be deployed step by step. The first step coming before the end of the month or the beginning of September, we will release a feature where people, the users of your app, will be able to interact with each other, or at least to see who they are. Okay. As for now, when you add the authentication add-on inside your app, people are able to register to create a profile, but this profile is still private. With the first round of release in the community feature, people will be able to see each other, and you will be able to sort people based on some criteria you will define inside your backend. That will be the first package released under this section. And after that, we plan to add additional things like a chat feature, a wall feature, ways for people to interact and to discuss and to create groups that will share some same interests inside your app, so that you can build your community and interact with your community. Any news about the upcoming appointments add-on? Okay, so I remember that some months ago I gave you a sneak peek of the roadmap, and I gave you some estimated time of arrival for each feature. The truth is that we are late on this roadmap, so everything has been delayed, and the booking add-on will come after the first round of the community feature. So we have prioritized the community features, and the booking feature will come after. So I don't see no more questions. So I was happy to make this webinar with you again. And the replay will be available on YouTube just after the session. And if you have additional questions, you can ask them in the support or in the Google Plus page or on the YouTube page. We are monitoring everywhere, so feel free to ask us some more details about navigation options, and we will be very pleased to help you. See you soon. Bye.